weightlifting is very technical. When walking into a competition or a training format, you don't just want to jump right into the movement. No matter how long you've done it, professional golfers still drill their swing, professional boxers still work on footwork. Best lifters in the world still take their time working on the drills, warming up the positions correctly, and this over time builds a lot of repetition to refine the technique. And one more final thing that I want you to take away from this is for those of you that plan to compete, having something that you can fall on as your consistent warm-up.
285 pounds.
Is that close to your PR?
That is my PR. I'm not going for that, Travis is. I want to see me lifting too.
What I've learned over my many years trying to learn to handstand. So with skill work in general, you can go online and you can find thousands of drills to try to help you. Over the years, I desperately looked through all of them, tried all of them, because it was a really difficult journey for me to learn how to do not just handstand walking, but muscle ups, toes to bar, chest to bar, all of them. And what I learned is that these drills are great, but they don't actually help if you don't understand why you're doing them. We want to make sure that you have the strength and the control to move and step equal distances, equal strength with both arms.
What is that, Noah?
It's missing a little something.
No.
Oh my gosh, no.
That was pretty gross.
That's how you get strong.
Manage your nutrition when you're like abroad or in another country or something.
I've been trying at least to get protein in at every meal, and at least protein and carbs at every meal, because I feel like all the food that we have probably has fat in it added when it's cooking. So proteins and carbs at every meal and some snacks in between.
Yep.
Yeah.
So you don't stress like too much about it?
No, I don't.
And what about you, Serna?
No, I like to eat food. I'm Latin, so I eat a lot of rice.
Yeah.
That's my preferred carb, el arroz, número uno. El carbohidrato, el que yo como más que todo. Por proteína me gusta comer proteínas que son bajas en grasa. No como muchas verduras, pero si como verduras es de espinacas, aspargos, cosas así, pero...
Muchos verdes.
Sí, y mi dieta es muy simple. Arroz con proteína y verdura ahí, o fruta. Me encanta la fruta.
Okay, so now we're gonna shift and we're gonna talk about position. So this isn't strength work, it's how to create a good position for handstand walking. The red dots are your hips. That's what's most important about creating a body line for handstand walk. What you notice with someone who does the banana handstand walk is that their hips are behind their shoulders. So even though you're trying to go forward, your weight is trying to pull you backwards. We bend our lower back to make up for it.
Just a little recap of what are you doing right now?
What we're doing, we're about to do a partner workout, teams of 3. This is for more or less Wadapalooza prep and just kind of an exhibition to put on. Some power snatch, bar facing burpee, row, and on the first one, 2 partners are holding front rack. Other one, partners are holding top of deadlifts with barbell or kettlebells, and then handstand hold and barbell overhead on the row.
And who's gonna win?
We are. It's kind of, how about this? If we don't, we need to go back to the drawing board. sets. I think we held 7, 6 on all the snatch, 10 on all the burpees. And then the row I feel like varied every time. I was around 20 to 22, I think, for the most of them. And then just kind of stayed there with everybody.
What was your worst part? Like the most difficult part?
Holding the barbell overhead during the last like 30 calories was really hard.
You did great. ¿Qué se sintió budear con estos dos?
Uy, demasiado bueno. Lo disfruté mucho, la verdad. Es un privilegio gigante y le dimos. Uno siente como la responsabilidad de representar a todos. Pero lo disfruté muchísimo, estuve bien chiva. Y casi me muero, tocó cerrar al final, pero buenísimo.
¿Cuál fue su parte más complicada?
Sostener la ring overhead fue lo más duro. No levantaba ya los hombros ni el grip.
¿Y cómo se sintió?
Cansada, pero estuvo muy chido compartir con todos.
Warming up for a clean and jerk, I recommend keeping full hand grip on the bar. Of the elbow pump, keep your ribs down. So it's natural to want to kind of cheat it by lifting up and overextending. Keep ribs down and really get that good lat stretch, driving the elbow up and around the bar. If you're learning today to be better lifters for yourselves, I want you to work with the position that feels strongest for you in the landing. There's a lot of very high hips with more of a deadlift style pull off the ground. The problem with this is that the bar ends up having to either loop around the knees to get back into the power position. So change your thinking a little bit of a clean and snatch pull off of the ground to feel almost more like a squat off the ground. I want my back angle to stay the exact same, and I want to feel my feet pressing into the floor. So I'm almost trying to push the ground away from me. Versus, you see the difference? Same concept for a snatch. Right? It's a little bit of a different feel, but you should feel more in the quads pulling off the ground versus posterior chain. This is going to allow the knees to get out of the way so the bar can stay closer to your body along the pull.
Muscle up swing. Jump to a pike from behind the bar. Now jump up, reach your feet forward, hold the pike position, and let your momentum just swing you forward. When you're in front, you're gonna snap into that tight arch that we just practiced in toes to bar. This is the toe rise. So you're gonna jump into the pike, swing in front of the bar, arch position, and then you're going to bring your feet up to about your shoulder height. Now it's time to be patient.
Gracias. Muchas gracias. Es un placer. Yo entiendo un poquito español, pero no suficiente for a full talk. So I wrote a whole story on the plane ride over here that I'm going to share with you. And is that too loud? The title of the talk that I would like to give is Happy But Hungry, Finding Joy in Difficult Pursuits. And my hope is that I can tell you the story of my journey in the fitness world over the last almost 15 years, and that you can learn some of the lessons that I learned the hard way without having to do so yourselves. Back then, I had no idea what it was going to look like. I think if you would have told the 18-year-old version of me that 13 years later, I would be here in Costa Rica with some of my closest friends getting to share a talk about fitness with fellow fitness enthusiasts and athletes and coaches, that I would have been very excited. Again, I didn't know exactly what I wanted to do with fitness. I just knew that I loved it, and I had developed a passion for health and fitness and finding out what my body was capable of. Then it was more from an aesthetics perspective in high school and college, and it slowly transitioned, but the constant theme from then until now is just that I had a passion for fitness, and that is something that I wanted to try to encourage you again. So, once you have your passion, setting goals is going to help guide you along the way. I believe that it's important to have one big goal, something that's scary, that's going to drive you, something that you're looking forward to that's more of a long-term goal. It's also important to have small goals along the way that are going to help keep you going in the direction to reach your big goal. I also think that it is very okay for goals to change. I think the big goal should probably remain the same, but those small goals can change and can evolve over the years. After doing my first workout, my first small goal was just that I wanted to do that again. I wanted to get better at the thing that had just kicked my butt like nothing else ever had. So after falling in love with CrossFit, I learned that it was also a sport that you could compete in professionally, and that's where my first big goal and my really only big goal started. The process of achieving that was not easy. When I started, I was one of the slowest, weakest, smallest athletes relative to the other athletes that I was training with that were CrossFit Games athletes like I wanted to be. So it was not easy at the beginning to lose over and over and over again, have to scale weights down and movements down until I could hopefully someday be able to keep up with the guys that I wanted to be like. But what made that difficult process what made me able to endure that process was the fact that I had set that big goal, and when I would experience the losses and the disappointment and the doubt, I was able to remind myself that I had this goal that I was working toward and that I didn't want to give up on. Another thing that has helped is the practice of gratitude, which a lot of people think of as journaling, which is helpful, but just gratitude in general, telling people that you're grateful for them. By the way, I'm grateful that you set up this camp so that we could have the opportunity to be here in Costa Rica this weekend. Thanks. I am very grateful, and I know that we are all grateful that you guys came here this evening and this weekend to support us and learn, hopefully, from us.